Welcome you back to ThinkTech Hawaii's Humane Architecture, and I'm sure you watched all our episodes. That's why you know you're in episode 371. We're broadcasting live again to playlist from 3 different triangular points in the world. Back to Honolulu, Hawaii with you, Jay Fidell. Back to Bangkok, your native Bangkok, Bundi, where you are, Bundit Kanisthakhon, and me, Martin Despang, near Munich, Germany. And we're going to continue to talk about how we age, we as humans, and creations that we envision with us. And we also have spiritually with us Emi Kiyota, who is currently back in transit from her Singapore back to our Europe here. So this is a very special, Bundi, because you're going to share with us again. Richard Lowe is going to be our patron once again. And as we were telling everyone, it gets even more personal here because you've been creating something for him back home. So you're broadcasting live from where this is, right?
Right.
So tell us.
Yeah, this is the project that I've been using the experience that I learned from Richard to kind of reality by taking care of him. So that's something that I've been involved with for the last 6 years, I think, designing and building these projects. And I applied the lesson learned to my mom now because my dad has passed. So this is something that I like to share. And this is the first slide of my mom's hand grabbing the handrail at her height and how we can make it, to accommodate my mom's height and everything. And how we can make the material more meaningful for my mom and make it more humane. So this is the first one. Yeah, this is the hand of my mom. We look at it and see, how it aged and all those things. We start to identify, what are the strengths and weaknesses, when she move around through her hand. So, okay. And this is when Richard was alive. This is his hand, and how I would like to kind of accommodate and personalize. This is the grab bar for the cabinet at our studio. I used the more like the color, to apply on his hand and make him grab a grab bar to make sure that, whenever he grab it, it belongs to him. This is something that I like to do more and more to make it more personal for all the friends that, how do I say it? That will feel belong to that piece of furniture or architecture. So that's something that I did. So once I paint some color on his hand, I make him grab that 2 pieces of plywood. Those are reclaimed from making cabinet, and then we carve it. So his fingerprints are in it, and all the indentation and all those stuff are embedded in it. So this is the experimentation with Richard that he kindly allowed me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one we, photograph him. I might have shown this last show already, but we really study him, how he maneuver himself on the wheelchair and the walker. And this happened during the COVID time that we push him around everywhere and to really understand it. And there's so many ideas that coming from it that, we don't have to just follow the main conventional way of using the wheelchair or the walker as the way to design. There's so many ways that we can learn from it as well to make it more unconventional. So, and this is just the figure ground of things that he, we make him sit, stand, and lie down, and we truly understand it. Okay, keep going. During that time of the COVID, I also have my dog with me. So taking care of 2 things at one time is kind of, handful, but that's the most fun I had, of taking care of both people and dog at the same times. And both of them has passed within a year apart. So, and this is when we think about the standard design guideline for the elderly. A lot of the time, we only follow the rules, but seriously, there's so many things that doesn't work quite right, for me when taking care of Richard. Sometimes the width and the height and how he travel doesn't match with what we provide for the guideline. The bar is too high for him. There's not a lot of space for him to grab things, and he get all confused when walking around the new places with all this grab bar, and especially in the toilet area and the sink. So yeah, just keep going.
I apologize because there was a beautiful slide in there where you diagrammed how it should work, but that one I was just wrestling with that. As we were
It's
talking
okay.
before the show, I might have not been a good person today, or not as good as I usually like to be.
It's okay. So, one thing that I found is, for all the conventional style of designing for elderly, we focus so much more on the horizontality, especially to follow the guideline. It create more bigger space, for you to, move around. But when you start to think about the design for elderly, the vertical elements can become important as well. And these are some of the things that our students study Richards and his movement and start to come up with some vertical element that can accommodate, many different activities that he involve, in daily life. So this is one of the student project. So
Mm.
this is back in 2020.
Hmm.
Some rendering and many different activities that come out from the, my elective class, and Richard test it out, one by one. These are some of the rendering that we use the rendering of Richard and Photoshop it in all the student works. And the next slide, yeah, Lily test it out, the height and the adjustability to make it more universal or inclusive for everyone. And this is one of the projects, just focusing on the handrail to your right. And then to your left, this is probably a month before he passed. I start to explore more with the verticality of how when people move around, the horizontal is important, but the verticality is more important because that's the one that really make him aware of where he is and how he touch and how he grab and how he connect the dot from one place to another. And this is at
Yeah.
my own place that we just set it up to really try it hard for him to make sure that he's, can get around okay.
Yeah, and I shared in a previous episode of Rich's when I ended up and at the Ivy, and he had just been falling and then got himself back up.
Yep.
But there was no such thing. That's probably also informed by that incident, right? Accident that there. I mean, luckily he used what was there. But if there would have
Yep.
been, vertical elements to really get yourself up, right? I mean, we know this from other fields of, fire marshals or fire people, right? They go down a rope, right, when they go into their fire truck. So we
Yep.
know in situations they're unusual, it needs unusual apparatuses or devices, as you greatly and it's great because the code guardrail just stops, right? It just doesn't
Yep.
care anymore. It just does the minimum requirement, and it's like you're on your own, right? And that's where you pick it up, literally and figuratively speaking, with these investigations. That's really great.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just, yeah. I also, try to come up with a way to make just the very conventional handrail materials. In this case, it's just a metal bar that we work with the craftsman to really bend it instead of like making it just straight and cold.
Mhm.
We curve it. We work with the craftsman and the welder to make it more humanized, since it's the humane architecture show. And sometimes the flat bar itself is still hard for my mom. So we find like another way to soften it up by wrapping around the rope. And she really likes it. She grip it more, and when she move around, she feel more humane with something um, made by nature. And this is just more design element that we apply to the place that we're working on now. And this is my
It's very,
mom's hand.
yeah. If I might categorize it sort of historic architectural history and theory wise, Alva Aalto comes to my mind, who was always very keen on how you touch the building first, which is the door opener, right? The door
Yeah,
handle or the knob, which is your
yeah,
first handshake with a building, right? And he was very, very thoughtful of that, both in the materiality and the form. But then again, it's like, okay, you open the door of a building and then you're in, and then, no one cares anymore. So you carry that through the building. It's
yeah.
almost like a thread, right? That you can navigate yourself by, keep holding on to the building in the building. It's
Yeah, that's
pretty.
how you connect your experience with
Mhm.
architecture as well. That's
Mhm.
something that I like to apply more and more with whatever I design. And it doesn't take much, Martin. It's not one size fit all, but the person that stay there feel belong to the architecture, and they learn
Mhm.
more, and they're more happy being in it because that's belong to them. Um,
Mhm.
so, and this is something that I developed during the COVID, when I was taking care of Richard. When he stand up after getting up, he kind of, not so balanced. So I combine the vertical elements and horizontal element, and I work with another friend to fabricate these tubes as a grab bar to be able to use it right after you get up. And I start to apply that to my mom's hand. And this grab bar is made of copper. And one thing that I found out during the COVID is um, copper doesn't like, I mean, COVID doesn't like copper because when the germ get, spread around the copper, it just die. So in the olden days, copper was the material to be used a lot in the hospital, not only the cooking utensil, but also the wherever that your hand touch. So I start to apply all those elements and fabricate it with another friend in Hawaii to make this happen. And I'm using it for my mom now, using vertical and
Absolutely.
horizontal elements in one.
Yeah. And per that sanitary sort of antiseptic, that's also the altos are mostly out of brass, which is the same,
Yeah.
as copper. So it is, and we, today these are out of plastic. Plastic doesn't have that
No.
capability. So we're making it cheap and we're forgetting. So this is really sort of remembering and reinvigorating these ideas that were basically multi-sensatory, right? They weren't just for the eye. I mean, the way we were educated, Bundi, in architectural school was all about the eye, right? It was looking good. So one sort of
Yep.
fetishized these details for the sake of looking good. And
Yep.
postmodernism really forgot the modern masters, marvels of sort of a multi-sensatory approach to architecture that you pick up again, which is really quite cool.
Yeah. And for copper, just to add to it, you leave a mark on it. It's oxidized and you personalize it in its own way. So before I build it up, I have my mom and my dad try it on, and to your right is Richard, trying it on as well, and he really likes it. So I wish he could stay long enough to use it, but you know things happen.
Mhm. Jay, you might remember, and you muted yourself, but that's probably intentional, Jay. But we did a show about coffee shops, and I shared that one coffee shop that we were cladding this back buffet with sheets of copper. And then the client came and was freaking out because he saw the fingertips and the fingerprints. And I said, just chill down, wait for the coffee machine firing up multiple times, and then it will be all patinaed. So that's the other thing, that we like surfaces to be almost dead, right? And we don't allow surfaces to come alive and become alive, be haptical and be like wood is warm, right? And it also has grain. And so this is really kind of, again, sensatory again, and needless to say that our extremities and the fingers are one of our most sensitive organs that we have to really experience. And I think you open up or reopen up this dimension of tactility and really giving meaning to these. I agree with these codes. They're well intended, but then come these industries and they produce these things, and they are very cold, literally and figuratively speaking, right? They're all about they say they're supposed to be durable and easy to clean, but you're saying this material is self-cleaning itself. It doesn't need to
Yeah.
be cleaned. It cleans itself. So that's so much better, so much
Yeah.
more valuable.
And this is the floor plans of what I'm creating now for my mom, because Richard's gone and my dad's gone and the dog's gone. So it's just a simple two-story building. Um, the first story has kitchen, bathroom, and a bedroom, some living area for my mom to get around now. So, and the second floor, this is, I've been talking a lot with Emi that we like to use the second floor to be like an open space that allow, activities in the community to happen. And she said she will be able to help make it happen, to organize people to in the community to come in and use the space. For example, for the art show, exhibition, lecture, or anything that require a lot of people. You can fit easily 20 some people up there for the lecture. It's just wide open space for the experimentation. In particular, how we can involve with the community. So that's the second floor is about. There's one bathroom there that we have now. So just a wide open space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as she shared, last time she was with us, she's quite experienced in this area of space that's communicative and gathers in her project.
Yeah. So, for this design, there are two levels, for the elderly. Sometimes it's best to be able to see them throughout wherever they are. So the circulation has to be clear. There's some sliding door here and there, but the minute they get up, you have to be able to see where they walk to the bathroom, and they can relate it themselves to the overall space. So there's a clear path for them to walk in and out in circular motion, because that's the way that another friend who's a doctor who's coming to test it out to next week at the medical school mentioned that when people start to get older, um, they want to see the sense of where they're going and see the light in all the room. And when they start losing memory, don't put any door, as a way that they feel that they feel claustrophobic. So they're just gonna run away from that door. So what I do now is just creating the wide open space on the first floor with just the sliding door that can embed it into the wall, and they feel free to walk around in and out. For the level one, I'm gonna extend the path that they can also walk around in and out. And for the second floor as well, there's a clear visuals of where things are. And in the
Mm-hmm.
future, there's some opening from the ground floor that we're gonna embed it some elevator to go up, because now the stair is the main way of getting up to the second level. But we
Mm-hmm.
run out of budget to put the elevator up. So that's coming. Yeah.
It could and should probably be a mechanic one, like a pulley one. There's one that Don Hibbert showed me in Chinatown. Have you ever talked about it, or have you seen
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's something that we
and
thought about.
that's a
Something simple.
two-story. It's a two-story building as well, where you can have a donkey outside who's helping you, with put him on a rope or her, and have that.
Yeah. I would love that. And this is just the vibe of it. The minute you walk in, you see everything from one end to the other. So whenever my mom gets up, I see her where she walks and she can get around. The next step is to be able to plan where she walked through, um, add more verticality to it. This house is just finished, not quite finished, but yeah, that's something that I'm gonna try to do more and more. And we allow a lot of cross ventilations to come in using the jealousy window, cross breeze the whole time. Though we, get super hot sometimes, so my mom requested to install a small room with an air conditioning that she can just hang out, and sometimes she can invite her friends to come and play card with her, so her memory is still sharp within the house.
And you
And
were
one thing that
sharing
she
with
does,
me. No, go ahead. Keep going.
go
I'll save
ahead.
it. No, it's
No, it's
coming in the
okay.
next slide, so I can save it for then. So keep going, Bundi.
Okay, but one thing that my mom does a lot is gardening. So we leave whatever plant she has around the house, so she's be able to touch and feel through her hand. You know how we can connect herself and her activities with the surrounding and connecting with the ground. So this is the current situation now. We secretly put Richards in there on the left photos.
Yeah. And we should say this is a very low budget,
Yeah.
self-made, obviously designed by you, but with local contractors. So
Yep.
all the issues that we have in Hawaii that we can't build. I mean, you've been doing a project at the North Shore for an incredible low budget as well.
Yeah.
So it's an excuse that people say you cannot build affordable in Hawaii. You proved it in Hawaii on the North Shore, and you proved it here again.
Yeah. This is very low cost structure.
Hmm.
So okay. And this is the image of the upstairs that Jay, you're gonna be invited to in December. We're gonna have like a small get together here. There will be an art and photography installations where we can invite people to have a meal together. And it's gonna take place at this place in December. So feel free to come. So that's just something start to take shape here in
And
Bangkok.
and the blue thing in the back, I remember our discussion based on, and we just had a really long heat wave. The next one is coming here in Europe, and I was just at Thomas's chair, and Bilge is back, and Basti, and so it seems like people are feeling it now. People are, and when it gets colder, they shouldn't forget, because it really gets personal to people. I mean, air conditionings, are all sold out, which we didn't have to begin with. So I want to share this interesting discussion you had with me about not central aircon, because obviously this is an easy breezy open space, but a decentralizing and
Yep.
keeping it where you need it. So it's
Yep.
it's almost like a cocoon, right? It's a piece of second skin that you're
Yep.
interested in developing, uh,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, exactly. You read my mind, Martin. And it's actually a mosquito net that I sometimes, when it gets comfortable, I come down and sleep up there and just let the mosquito net down and just have the two ceiling fan. Just
Mm-hmm.
leave it on. And, we can even pack more people, up on the second floor here. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that I've been thinking. Instead of like aircon, every space that we have in the house, we make it more individual. I also look into like a cat house or the dog house that now in Thailand, it gets so hot that they have the cat and the dog house that come with like little aircon for the cat and the dog to stay. That might be some
Yeah.
idea that instead of like aircon the whole space, but we just create our own cocoon and be
Hmm.
comfortable and have that privacy
Hmm.
within that small space so we don't waste a lot of energy, to cool up
Yeah.
the whole area. So
You're absolutely synchronized with Shift, which is Thomas Auer, who we had on the show, and then Christine Lemaitre, who we yet have to get on the show. They're both the founders of Shift. And just to remind everyone that it's called Southern Hemisphere Information for Transformation. So it's us white howly guys learning from you brownie guys down there in the southern hemisphere because you've been living with these conditions that we're getting here,
yeah,
through global warming. Basically, Munich will be like Barcelona. And so that's the whole idea, to look into climate zones rather than being like, oh my God, we don't know what to do. So this is really, really valuable when things get hotter, as to learn from you guys,
yeah.
because
And something about
in the past we wanted to bless you with our stuff and saying now you're going to get developed. Lucky you, right? You get all that Western stuff. But we came to the awareness that's not working, that's not cutting it, right? It's just trying
yeah.
to multiplicate that sort of international style model that's based on all, centrally air conditioned and all glazed, and you bless everyone in the world with that because it's so cool. No, it's not. We came to the point to say it has proven to be absolutely uncool. So now we got to sort of rewind and reconsider and reconfigure and looking more into your guys' culture, because you actually have been, because when we previously said you have been substandard, but we now realize that the primitive is actually the better than the developed and the overly developed. So that's what,
Yeah.
all the old white howlies here around us, and Thomas and me and Stefan Banish are realizing, and really looking forward to work with you, as Martin Anselini, who's back in his Colombia, right? That's the great, and places like that are really beautiful to do workshops, to do brainstormings, to do conferences with Shift people from all over the world.
Yeah. And this is how my mom used her bedroom. And those are the grab bar that we talk about. She's pretty happy. So that's her bedroom and the grab bar in context. So when she get up, she just, move that thing up and down and lift herself up from her bed and maneuver herself to the bathroom or to the kitchen or the living
Hmm.
room.
Hmm.
So, so And those are the area where I work with her activities and her movement. Wherever she touch, I put ropes around it so she have a firmer grip of getting around. And if the steel is too hard, straight, we bend it in a way that it, matches her hand and her movement. And these are
Hmm.
some of the example of places that we customize it in a way that fit with her needs, her height, and her behavior.
And it's really warm hardening. It's like you feel like this is not a technocratic, okay, code says so, some metal worker comes and bolts it too. This is really like, a welcoming. This is a warm welcoming, and it's better grip, but it's also like, okay, it's warmer and it's more natural, right? So it's really kind of a gesture, a
Right.
humane gesture.
Yeah. And we
And
can't afford copper throughout everything. So this is
no,
just a metal bar that we bend it because copper
yeah,
can get expensive.
yeah, yeah.
Another thing that I like to point out to that, the furniture on the right photos are from her dad. So whatever that you can bring in, all that sense of belongings, from her past, she loves it. And she's
Hmm.
happy that we, can bring that That's my grandpa's set of furniture that we continue to bring along wherever she goes. And all the door used to be the individual. If you look at it closely at the right photos, we just put a bunch of doors together, make it sliding, in order to create individual door that, you have one opening, but this has become a sliding door that the whole space become a wall and it's movable from one place to another. So there's a lot of reclaimed door that we fabricated in a way that it's a big sliding door. Yeah. Okay. And this is another thing that we fabricate for her because she loves gardening, and her back start to bend. So we create like a small shelf that she can use her hand, quote unquote, to play with the plant that she likes. She likes to propagate plants, and we try our best to just accommodate that to her. And that's her, private garden that she's been working on every day. So since I've been back, that's what I like to do more and more activities with my mom, with my hand. I grab her here and there to maneuver her around, but this is her favorite time of day, just to be able to get out, be in the garden. So.
Yeah.
And this is the slides of, this is from the Flux magazine, actually, that they took of Richard when he was chairing the office. And he's just pointing up the guppies that we adopted in the fish tank. That's just his hand that I learned a lot from it, by just looking at his hand or just grabbing his hand or just using my hand to, grab him here and there. That's something that I think we're missing in our design world. Like I said, we tend to use a lot more fingers to delegate, to type out text, to type out email. But really, I want people to go back to the hand. That's when you feel your own temperature. You feel your friend's temperature. You learn how to grab him. There's a handshake, of things that we're missing, because everything is so digitized, and we lost touch of it. That's something that I like to bring it back and then connect it to the architecture. That's why, I want to use the hand as a way to communicate the design for this session. So any thoughts, Martin?
Well, we do now a lot. We go to the Q&A part, but maybe there's one more, which is a video that you wanted to share. So maybe should we do that first, pretty quick?
Sure. Yeah. This is a video that I really enjoy watching, and it reminds me of just a simple question for a little kid, and we can start to play it. And it brings me back to Jay with, your friends from Chicago that talks about memory, karma, and what happened after we die. And just a simple question from the little girl asks this Buddhist monk.
I had a doggy, and the doggy died, and I was very sad. So I don't know how to be so sad.
This is a very difficult question. Suppose you look into the sky, look up into the sky, and you see a beautiful cloud, and you like the cloud so much. And suddenly the cloud is no longer there, and you think that the cloud has passed away. Where is my beloved cloud now? So if you have time to reflect, to look, you see that the cloud has not died, has not passed away. The cloud has become the rain. And when you look at the rain, you see your cloud. And when you drink your tea, mindfully, you can see the rain in your tea, in your cloud, in your tea. And you can see, hello, my cloud. I know you have not died. You are still alive in a new form. So Doggy is the same. And if you look very deeply, you can see Doggy in its new form.
So tell us why you choose the video for us.
The reason why I choose is because I've been watching Jay's and his conversation with his friends, And there's so many things that is so multi-dimensional. It's about past, present, the memories, and what happened. There's one show about karma that I thought a lot about it. In my culture, sometimes when something happened bad in your life, you get hit by a car. In the Western culture, if you get into an accident, somebody rear-ended you, there's people calling in everywhere, like, okay, whose fault is that? But just the other day, we were rear-ended in the back, and people just come out and just say, "Oh, are you okay?" and all those things. But what happened now is they don't ask for any insurance or anything. They, all they say sometimes is, well, maybe we must have done something bad to each other in our last lifetime, and this lifetime we kind of hit each other again. So that's something that we learn how to let go of things. We learn how to not make things so conditional about the damage of our car. We don't have to deal with the insurance and who gets what. We don't get a call from the doctors that, oh, is your neck okay? We happy to help you, and this is the cost that you're gonna get. Those are the things that I start to see more and more. With helping people, it's the same thing. When you do have good intention to make things happen, and it circle back to you unconditionally. People help you all along. It's the same energy that go out to people, and it come back to you when you need help. So that's something that I like to share more and more. That it's not linear the way you decide things. You look at things all around. You look at the past, the present, and also the future. The past means maybe your last lifetime that you can tap into it. In this case, my own family house, Richard, when he passed, what I learned from taking care of him, and I'm able to express it in my own design and through my own hand. That's something that I like to encourage people to do more and more. It comes to the full intuition of things that we involve it. Yeah, so that's something that I like to share. Any thought, Jay?
Martin, I have thoughts about nearly every slide. Can you go back to the beginning?
Of course.
Okay. That's, yeah. Go all the way. Okay, go forward. Go forward. Go forward. Go forward. Go forward. Go forward. The bathroom. Very important. And these pieces really do have to be stainless steel. There have to be grab bars everywhere, horizontal and vertical. And I'm not sure that you need glass between the rest of the bathroom and the sink and the shower. My reaction, forgive me, Bundit, but these are my reactions.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you need a shower on the top. You just need the piece that can slide up and down.
Yeah.
We need more shelving in there for more soaps. It's very important. I think you've captured this, that the level of the shower, of course, should slope to the drain, and I assume that. but it should be at the same. It should start at the same level as the rest of the bathroom. I would put the commode. I would put the commode closer to the shower. I would not use a glass separator. I'd use a shower curtain. It's easier to operate. And that's it for the Toto. A Toto toilet would be terrific in here, because Toto toilets are they're what do you call it? They're motion sensitive. So if you walk up or back up to the Toto toilet, it opens for you, and it has a whole control panel. So I would, ideally, I would use a Toto toilet with a motion sensor. Okay, that's all I have on the bathroom. I think the bathroom is a critical place. This is good, but those are the suggestions I would make. Next one.
Yeah. For my part, Jay, for the bathroom, this is what typical they design for you. The conventional way of looking at the bathroom. So my argument for the conventional way of designing the bathroom, that you don't need that big, and you don't have to have so many glass and grab bar everywhere. The one that I designed for Richard, there's one handrail that he grabbed all the way through his bathroom, and one vertical element that he can hop, from the toilet right into the shower, and just the shower curtain. But this is just to show the conventional way of, designing the bathroom that normal people would get.
And that was in the slide that got lost through my translation and taking yours and making them into a PowerPoint. So we will show that one in one of the next get-togethers. So
I totally agree with you, Bundy. I think there needs to be a bar between the commode and the shower, and it could be adjustable where it clamps on the wall, and you can bring it down when you decide you want to go from the commode to the shower. Did I mention? I think you want to have more shelf space in there in the shower. Okay. Anyway, next slide, and after that. Okay. I really think the idea of vertical piece is very valuable and very helpful to help Richard get out of bed in the morning. This doesn't look all that strong to me, and I assume it's really strong. But it would have to be strong.
This is just the experimentation, Jay. We make it much stronger when we build the real one. This just to test it out. And we stiffen it up. This is still movable, but we fasten it, pretty hard now into the wall, into the ceiling and the floor. So
I'm looking at is that a grill I see on top? I hope that's not air conditioning, because that would be a bad place for air conditioning, right over his head.
No, it's just the service panel, because there's a plumbing upstairs that we able to open it up and adjust things for the plumbing fixture upstairs. So it's not air conditioning. Yeah.
I would move the television over to the left so that he can look at it from the bed. And I would have the bed adjustable so that he can sit up, and with a remote device, he could sit up and watch the television. It's hard to watch television if you're lying down. Furthermore, I would have flat spaces. I can't see from this vantage. I would have flat spaces around the bed. I think you do, where you could put things like a box of tissues, whatever you want, so he can have them handy. I would likewise have the whole bedroom outfitted with motion sensor switches, so that when he came into the bedroom, the lights would go on, and in a few minutes they would go off, or they would stay on as long as he is moving around. If he waved his arms, they would go on again. The bar at the right, I guess that's an adjustable bar. But what I wanted to say about it is it doesn't look too aesthetic to me to use the wood and then a PVC bar or steel bar, whatever that is. But I suppose you do want to have it adjustable. On the other hand, I want to point out that I think it's sometimes more important that instead of using a wide staircase, you can have a narrower staircase. The important thing is you can have bars on both sides, on both sides of the staircase, so you can put one arm on the right one and one arm on the left one, so you have twice the traction. I know that means you have to spend a little more money on it, but I think there ought to be bars on both sides of the staircase, and the staircase should be narrow enough so that you can reach to both bars.
Right. No, that I totally agree, Jay. But these are the experimentation during class, and how we can use Richard in a way to study him, how he maneuver. The end product will be much different. And I agree with you with the both grab bar when he go up and down. That's super helpful. Yeah.
Let me go to the next one. I really like the idea of having something tactile on these grab places. And I think the rope idea is very good. But I would warn you, though, that the rope can attract bacteria and dirt, hard to clean. You may want to use some other kind of material. Wood is good. And I think I would use wood. But again, I would use bars on both sides of a stairway, and
Right.
I would build it. I know there's code on how you build a stairway, but I would build it as comfortably as I could for a senior to get up and down the stairway. Because if you want to enhance the risk, a stairway enhances the risk of falling, and therefore you make every possible opportunity to minimize that risk. So yes, it should be something you can grab onto, that you won't let go very easily. I kind of like wood, and it should be wood that's big enough. I noticed the one on the top right is kind of narrow. The one at the left and in the bottom center is easier to grab onto for your mother. So I would make it big, and it would be a handful, so that she wouldn't slip on it. And as I mentioned, she would want to have a stairway that had wide treads, and would be narrow enough so that she could have bars on both sides. Okay, I know that this is experimental. I'm just giving you my reaction.
No, that's good. This is what I need. No, that's how I learn, and to make things better. And I hope I never get it right, because that's no fun. Because I keep experimenting things, and I hope it never ends. So,
well, one day you'll be there too. Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of the copper, and I like the idea of the horizontal and the vertical. Absolutely worthwhile. But I heard you say in another slide that this is adjustable. How would you adjust this? Here, they would move it up and down. Is there
once
some
you
kind of
set the
latch
height.
that?
Yeah. Martin,
Okay,
can you
there
go
it is.
back?
There it is. This one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. How are they adjusting it?
So those are the two that we drill a hole and we pin it with brass throughout. Once my mom get the right height, we just pin it per her height. So it's not moving up and down anymore. So we just pin it. I can show you the pin if you like. It's very tiny pin that we thread it through the.
Oh, so you can adjust it by changing the pin.
Yeah.
Okay, I sure like the picture on the right, because I think if you're in bed, it's easier to grab a horizontal piece than a vertical piece, and you have to pull yourself out of the bed. So that should be lower rather than higher. The one on the left looks like it might be too high. The one on the right probably could be a little lower, and it would be more useful for the individual to pull himself or herself out of bed. Can you go back, Martin? Do you love my points? Do you love my points? Am I offending you, Bundy?
No, not at all. So this is good. Another thing for that too, Jay. Maybe your time will come when somebody have to put on the pants for you. That's super helpful when you get up and down the bed and somebody put your clothes on. Usually they hold on to that vertical bar and put your clothes on through that, and they feel more comfortable by their bed. Because before I take care of Richard, I took care of people at the hospice, and when they get toward the end, they have a hard time just getting off the bed. But the minute they stand up, you have that opportunity to help them put their clothes on here and there. So the vertical bar is super helpful. So,
you want to go back further, Martin, or should we start from this one now?
No, I go back.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. This one. Yes, it has a stairway, and that's we talked about the stairway, but look at the bath. The bath has two sliding doors. One sliding door to get to the commode, one sliding door to get to I don't know what that is on the right. Maybe that's the shower.
The shower.
So why do you have two sliding doors? I would have one sliding door, entering into the whole complex there. And frankly, elderly people don't need to open or close the door in the bathroom. They would probably leave it open all the time. So I think you can save some money by having only one sliding door. And that would be only as necessary because they don't really need a sliding door at all. But here you could probably avoid having two sliding doors.
Yeah.
Let's see. The stairway, of course, we discussed. I really love the idea about not having doors on all these rooms. That is a great idea. And everybody will appreciate that. Okay, next one. And storage.
Just to answer your question, Jay, now it's just curtain, for the bathroom. There's no door.
Oh, good.
I can literally walk you there if.
Okay,
but,
one of these days.
Okay. Yeah, but there's no door in the bathroom, just curtain. That, sometimes my mom feel not so comfortable using the curtain when she used the bathroom.
Sure.
But for us, kids, my sister and I said maybe leave it like that for now in case she falls, so we can reach out right away. So
let me add that I think I love curtains here, and you can get curtains that are cultural. If you like Southeast Asian curtains, you can find the most beautiful curtains online. They're art form. And they really enhance the whole experience. And for that reason, they would, the individual would probably leave the curtain closed once in a while just to enjoy the art form, a cultural piece.
That's a good idea.
I'm looking at the bars here, and I'm a little worried that those bars are just single bars, and the person could step off the deck and maybe fall. So I think there should be another horizontal member about halfway up, just to prevent that from happening. I love the idea of having jalousies, so much better than air conditioning. I really like the idea of having wood floors. Wood floors are really the best. I don't think carpet works at all. Tile may be a little slippery, but wood floors, are easy to clean. They're easy to walk on. They're very long lasting, and so I totally agree with the wood everywhere you can. And I like the idea of the railroad flat straight, so you can see right down to the end. Next one. Here, there's a lot here. Okay, I like the idea of the art along the wall. I guess that's art, but I think for seniors,
for art.
For seniors, I don't think that bench does it. I think you have to either have a three-piece bench, that's wider. I think there should be a horizontal member at the back of the bench so the individual could grab onto it before he or she sits down. Otherwise, it's a chore to sit down and it's a chore to stand up. Alternatively, you could have two pieces in the front of those vertical poles and two pieces in the back, which would allow more people to sit on the bench to enjoy the art. Okay? I assume that all these horizontal pieces around the holes in the floor, around the ends, that look out, have sort of a plexiglass or some kind of member, because as I mentioned before, an elderly person could step right down off it, and so you should have either plexiglass or another horizontal member to prevent that, to be safe. I love the idea of the skylight. I would have more of them. I see on the left that you have some kind of corrugated skylight. Those are fine, but I would like this place more with either corrugated or the one you have on the right. It's a beautiful room. Beautiful room. Yeah. And if you're going to have a party there, you probably want to have more benches for more people to sit down. Maybe even tables, even. Don't know where they would go, but just for practical purposes. Next one. We talked about this one. That room, by the way, looks very spacious. Okay, go back. I absolutely agree with these handholds, but I noticed two things in this picture. One is she's got to go up one step to get on the wooden planks. I think the wooden planks sort of started grade. The wooden planks, present an additional challenge if she's got to step up. She could trip on that. Second point is that, as I said before, this is narrow enough so you could have handholds on both sides. Now that might get in the way of the window, but I don't think that's a big deal. It would be great if there were handholds on both sides of that wooden walkway. Oh yeah, and this room, this dining room affair, it'd be a great place for motion sensor switches. As long as somebody is in the room, the light's on, and if they're not in the room, it goes off. So they're not troubled with having to turn the lights on when they enter the room. I like the tile, and I assume it's non-slip tile. It's probably a better choice in a dining room because food may fall down, and the tile is easier to clean. This is a wonderful room, and everybody has enough space to really enjoy it and push back and have a good conversation. Next. What I notice here is there doesn't seem to be a spigot for water. If she's going to water all these plants, there should be a spigot up here with, say, a vertical piece and a spigot, and so that she can have some kind of pot to put the water in and water all the plants. That would be a lot easier than having to carry the water from far away. But I love the idea of having all these plants. What a joy it must be for her to have all these plants around. But the one thing I think is it would be probably more convenient if she had some water there. Next. One other point back to motion sensor switches. I love the idea of having this light to light up his hand. But if it's an area where he needs the light, I would have a motion sensor switch there, and it would be set to last for as long as he's in the room. When he leaves the room, it goes off. And I would put motion sensor switches everywhere for an elderly person or facility. Next, is there a next?
Next is the video that concludes it.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you for listening.
That's a good comment, Jay. I'd like to answer it quickly. For the RAM, we're planning to continue the RAM at the same level, but I just ran out of budget at the moment. That I'd like to continue it all the way to the other side of the garden. So when my mom is on wheelchair, I can make that happen for her. But at the moment,
one other thing about the garden, it would be slightly better if you put vertical, horizontal pieces and grab bars around, so that when she was dealing with the plants, she had something to grab onto in case she lost her balance.
No, I totally agree. But at this section, she has a lot of verticality in the. We have a bigger garden that she can maneuver by grabbing all these tree trunks. It's like a monkey when you see her walking around. And the surface of the ground is not quite level, it's still soil, but she used that verticality, just like how Martin take his student out to the tree texture class, that she just go, like horizontally by grabbing all those vertical elements to go. And I like to see more of that. Grab bar is a good idea, but it's kind of synthetic in the nature setting. So in another word, I like to grow more trees for her to grab and maneuver herself in the garden.
It's so important to give your mother opportunity to occupy her time with something creative and constructive. The garden is a very important element in her life, I'm sure.
And it's a joy to be able to see her, play with all this gadget that I'm coming up with. And I'm learning a lot from them too, that I can share to the students or for later on, for other people, if we become a prototype that we can reproduce. So
thank you, Bundit. Thank you for letting me give my thoughts.
No, this is a joy.
There was more than thoughts, Jay. Usually you say, when I'm on a rant, you say this was a fireworks of something. This was you, and this is your growing expertise, in this area, because you've been sharing openly that you've been moving into a facility where people move into because they usually, can't. We see, of course, Sharon walking by in the back, and we heard the doggy. So it's still pretty active over there, but we all know, this is in phases. And I want to share one last memory that I had with Rich in Queens Hospital when you had to go. I think you actually were with your parents, and I was there and helping out. And he had just been, hospitalized for a while, and had to get his systems back up. So he when he was in bed, he had a diaper, and then he got accustomed to the diaper. And then when we relocated up to the rehab facility, he was still in the mode of, okay, I do my business in the diaper. And so at some point we were close to getting out of the hospital. He basically mentioned, I think I need to, change the diaper. So we needed to go back, and it was pretty horrid as a wayfinding in this hospital to find a bathroom at all. And then we were in the bathroom, and then came the pulling down the pants and getting rid of the filled up diaper that I wasn't used and wasn't trained. So this was all pretty much premiere. And we and then came the point of like, okay, where do I get a new diaper? Or I had the discussion with him and I said, are you able to switch back to the time pre-diaper, and can you make this post-diaper? And he said, I can't do on the spot. And I said, okay, I need to get another diaper. So then I was like going through this maze and labyrinth of this hospital and trying to find another diaper. By that time, I mean, a lot of time passed by. And I came back to the bathroom that we have found. I barely found it again, and he was gone. And I was like, oh my God, I was in charge of him. He trusted me, the family trusted me, you trusted me, and I totally screwed it up. Luckily, there was a nurse who met him there, found him there, and so then they walked out and were. But that was a very, very sort of shocking is probably the wrong word, but a very, very hardening experience where all of a sudden, realized all these deficiencies, all these, we have sort of technocratized that, we have facilitated it, and it's supposed to work, but it doesn't work. It really doesn't. When push comes to shove and it comes to shit in the pants, right? It does not work. And that's why I really loved your guys' discussion today, because this is architecture coming down to the fine grain of humanity, and allowing people in the most golden part of their age to have a really lovable life that is full of experiences of what architecture, as Jay said, this is a wonderful room, this is a wonderful space. So it is on a spatial, but it is also down to the very nitty-gritty detail of the tactile, as you rightly called it, Jay. So I think this should be, we should watch out to not, I know you wouldn't like that, Bundi. I know you enough that this should be the new standard, because you said, hopefully I never get it right? Because your plaidoyer is for that everyone customizes, that everyone basically, makes it fit for their people, because although we're all humans, but we all have different attitudes and we all have different likes. So if one could spread this, not as a new norm, that would be what you wouldn't want, but the philosophy, right, of this could spread it, and encourage everyone to do it by themselves and for themselves, certainly with some aid, of some trades that could help. But I think that's the beauty of it, that it's really done with sort of this determination of, the people you do it for, right? And that's what usual standardization does not do. All they know is that the hand, this is like 5 centimeters, 2.5 inches. That's all
Yeah.
we need. And then we say that's going to be the standard. But you prove this wrong and you provide alternatives that are so right. So I really thank you both. This was a wonderful show. It was wonderful to hear you interact. And I could just stand there and say nothing. That's the best, because when Martin has to and he's insecure, and then he can talk a lot, as we know. So this was wonderful for me. Thank you. And I can't wait, to get up in age, and because there's all of a sudden there's nothing wrong about it anymore, right? All these fears about getting old, there's nothing to be afraid of, thanks to the two of you. And thanks Bundi creating that. Thanks for Jay giving ideas for optimization, for perfectioning. So thank you.
Yeah, I will go get the sensor now, Jay, for my mom.
Martin, don't rush your age, okay? Enjoy your youth, Martin, okay?
Yeah.
I don't see youth anymore, but thanks for the encouragement. Enjoy. You're always young at heart, Jay. We really are privileged to have you with us, and being open to architecture on all levels. I'm afraid we have to go back to the macro level and the things that are not going so well in Honolulu as well. Probably even next week, but. Oscillating between all these scales is really wonderful. And this is, thank you both a lot.
Right.
Okay. See you next time.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.